Welcome to another Whiskey, Games, and Nerd Stuff. This is another video in the series of what whiskey would you pair with what game. Today's game is Coffee Roaster by Stronghold Games, and today's whiskey we will get into in here in just a moment. Coffee Roaster is a great solo player game from Stronghold Games, and the objective of the game is to make the perfect cup of coffee. Essentially, this is a bag placement game, and I love the aesthetics on this, so I'll go ahead and open up this box and you can see why. As I said, I really like the aesthetics on this game. This is a nice little setup where you've got your little placement out here, you've got your roaster level, you've got your cup of coffee you're trying to make, and then what happens in this game is you get these little cards where it's going to tell you what specific coffee you're looking to make. It tells you kind of where in the world those beans are from. I really think that's cool, and there's about 20 or 30 of those in here. And then it'll tell you that here's what you're going to start with. So what would happen is you're going to start with 14 zeros, 2 beans, 2 waters, and 1 burnt bean. And then what you do is you place those in this bag, and then you'll pull out a certain number of tokens based on what turn it is. So in this case, you'd put your starter ones in here, and you're just basically pulling out the tokens, and then what happens is when it roasts, a 0 becomes a 1 becomes a 2 becomes a 3 becomes a 4, and then if you cook a 4, then it gets burnt. So this is kind of really cool. I really like how this setup is. You don't have to do what I did with these little coin capsules in here. I just do that for any games that I can fit game pieces in the coin capsules. I just like the feel of it. I like the sound that it makes when you're pulling them out of the bag. And they're just kind of fun to play with. But this would be, on this particular one, you needed 2 blues. And what happens is you pull these out and then you place them along as you go. But this is not a gameplay video. I will link, though, the gameplay video to Coffee Roaster at the end of this. But today's video is about what whiskey would pair with Coffee Roaster. Now, there's a couple whiskeys that I usually will pair with whiskey. So really, this is 2 questions. The first is the video title is what whiskey would I pair with Coffee Roaster, the game? In addition to that question is, what is your go-to whiskey when you put some in your coffee? So usually there's a couple different whiskeys that I'll rotate to mix with my weekend coffee. I'll kind of go with the honorable mentions and then go with the one that we're saying right now. So I usually will go Jameson Cold Brew, which for the price point is not too bad, and it has that little coffee tone to it as well, so that's not a bad way to go. There's a chocolate whiskey that I actually like quite a bit with the putting in the coffee, and that's called 8 Ball Chocolate Whiskey. A great one, and it may have been a contender for this one had I had a bottle next to me, but I can't seem to keep this particular bottle from getting used up in my circle, and that's Shanky's Whip. Shanky's Whip is a great whiskey. It's more of a dessert whiskey, but it's great to go into coffee. But here's one that people are either going to turn their nose up or not. It kind of depends on what you think. And that's going to be Screwball. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Now, if you haven't had Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, I definitely suggest you try it. It's one of those whiskeys that you should try at least once. So let's go ahead and put a little pour in there. And then let's go ahead and mix that up with our little handy mixer. And let's take a sip. Yeah. The Screwball chocolate whiskey is a great to put in your coffee. And if you want to have some great drinks, go to their website and they'll have some recipes for fantastic drinks. So this is what the whiskey is that I would pair with Coffee Roaster the game. I would like to know, what whiskey would you have paired with Coffee Roaster? And what is your go-to whiskey to pour a little bit in your weekend coffee? And of course I say weekend coffee because We wouldn't want to be putting whiskey in our coffee on our way to work. That just would not be a good idea. I really appreciate everybody taking the time to watch this video. Please like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until next time, folks, cheers.